we've got here arguably the two leading smart trainers on the market right now, the Wahoo Kickr and the Tacx Neo. Now, a lot of people often sort of ask, which one should I get? Should I get the Neo or the Kickr? So what we're going to do is a video where we compare the two so you can work out for yourself which one is going to be the best one for you. So we're going to compare the different things about them. So,
indeed. And interestingly enough, the Wahoo has plenty of advantages to Neo's disadvantages and vice versa. So let's start with what you actually get when you pull it out of the box. Wahoo comes with a cassette. It's compatible with bolt through and quick release in a number of different sizes, and that comes in the box ready to go, pre-installed. Whereas the Neo, although compatible with Campag, where Wahoo isn't.
Yeah, that's important to point out because it's got an Edco free hub body where you put the cassette, which means, you can run SRAM, Shimano or Campag cassettes without changing that.
But it doesn't come pre-installed with a cassette, and it isn't truly bolt-through compatible. You have to buy a separate quick release, bolt-through friendly product from their store.
Yep. And with both of them, you also get sort of power adapters, transformers to plug it in. Another thing you get in the box with the Tacx is a riser block that your front wheel goes in to lift your front wheel up, so you don't feel like you're going downhill all the time. But you don't get one with the Kickr, do you?
You don't, because you don't need it,
right?
Basically. So it's level, it's rider height, so you don't feel like you're going downhill, or equally you don't feel like you're going uphill. The Wahoo as well is more friendly, more compatible with different style of bikes and frame designs. So mountain bikes, for example, 29ers, 26, 700C traditional road style wheels, it can adjust quite simply with the adjustment at the bottom.
You can see, like just looking at it now, there's a lot more going on here at the front of the Neo, and having that material there means that some people have had issues with clearance of certain frames, particularly I think some TT frames of TT bikes can be quite tight in on there, and that's not an issue that people tend to have with the Kickr. So that's something else. It's probably worth, if you're considering buying one, just trying your bike out to see that it fits on the Neo before.
And I think that's basically what we're starting to come into now, is that the turbos, I feel, and I think you agree, is that they offer different things to different style of riders. So whereas the Neo is, you can use it without plugging it into a power source, the Kickr you have to be plugged in at all times to get the features to work.
So let's, I think, talk basics, which is just visually how they are and the sort of shape of them. So firstly, the new Kickr, and this was a modification from the original Kickr design, has this really useful carry handle on here.
I've got to say, it's probably one of the easiest turbos to manoeuvre and live with. For me, I live in a flat in central London. The Kickr has been the easiest to transport up 4 flight of stairs and live with at home in terms of, packing away, getting it back out, and just general dealing with it.
Yeah, whereas the Tacx Neo, it looks like Kylo Ren's space shuttle from Star Wars, and it's also about as heavy as Kylo Ren's space shuttle from Star Wars as well. It's a difficult thing to move around and lift. It's really awkward, and there's no obvious place to pick it up. This is when... Let's just... Oh my... It's just... Oh, Jesus.
It's nothing but awkward, really,
It's
isn't it?
a really awkward object to fold the legs in, to pick it up, to move it around. It's a pain.
I think what I found is there's no way of releasing one side and resting it and then releasing the other. You either release all the hinges at one time and suddenly have 20 plus kilograms in your arm.
Yeah.
So you release one and it...
Oh, God. Now what? And then, ergonomically, to move that around, it is terrible. Like, how do I pick it up? Because do you sort of put your hands there? But if you put your hands there... It weighs a ton as well. Oh, God.
Yes, whereas the Kickr is a lot better. It's got a smaller footprint for a start. The legs simply fold in by pressing the 2 blue buttons at the back. It stands upright, supports itself. It's actually a very flat-friendly turbo trainer.
So in terms of manoeuvrability, taking it places, packing it away, that is a win for the Kickr. That's 1-0 to the Kickr there over the Tacx. And we're also, we're going to say like 1-0 in terms of what you get in the box as well, I'd say.
I think so, yeah, in terms of overall compatibility, minus the fact that the Wahoo Kickr does not accept Campagnola cassettes.
Yeah.
So, the next thing, noise. What do we think? I think, undoubtedly, the Neo.
Yeah, the Neo is the quieter unit than the Wahoo. So, you know, depending on if you want to annoy your neighbours or get along with them, then that will influence your decision. The Neo is going to be the winner when it comes to noise over the Wahoo. So, stats.
Here we go. Where's your top trumps cards?
So if we're playing top trumps, I think the Tacx is sort of winning here because, I mean, this one does 25% maximum gradient, whereas
versus
the
20%.
20% for the Wahoo. Max wattage.
2,000 for the Wahoo.
2,200 on this bad boy.
Hey, you're killing it. Absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
I think in terms of spec and numbers internally, where, you know, rider feel and the maximum you can get out of a product, the Neo wins here.
Yeah.
To the extremes, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but 2,000 watts just isn't enough for me. I definitely need the 2,200 is, it's pushing it, but it's almost,
it's doable, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, I don't think anyone comes anywhere. I mean, I don't know anyone who's going to be putting out 2,000 watts on a turbo. I mean, it's just not sort of stable enough to bang out a 2,000 watt sprint. So both are comfortably well within the realms of where they would need to be, I think. I don't think anyone ever used one of these and gone, do you know what, I needed 2,500 watts maximum.
But I think in terms of technology and the simulations and what you need, the Neo edges it in this one, I think.
Yeah, so you've got the flywheel, the nice big heavy flywheel on the Wahoo, which really does help create like a sort of realistic road feel. And in contrast, the Neo has a virtual flywheel made from 32 neodymium magnets. You know, the slight differences there do have a sort of implication, don't they, when you play online games like Zwift. So in terms of hardware, the Neo sort of wins because it is a more advanced piece of electronic kit,
definitely.
Really. But yeah, what are the implications then when you play Zwift with the Neo versus the Kickr?
Both controllable. So when you plug in, sign up, go for your ride when it's raining outside, and you want to pair via Bluetooth or Amp+, both will control and undulate and descend and climb as you can on Zwift. I think in general terms, you know, both are very good. Both are very good. I think the Wahoo does everything you need it to do. The Neo has real world, real road feel, where the Wahoo doesn't. So in Zwift, you can go over wooden slats or rough road, cobbles, etc., and you'll actually feel that or feel it simulated with the Tacx Neo.
It's pretty cool, actually, that, because of the neodymium magnets, it can actually create like sort of vibration and stuff going on through the flywheel, the virtual flywheel, which is weird, but it's
very strange.
It does feel sort of like riding on rough surfaces. So,
and I think that adds
cool
to the fact that the Tacx Neo does feel a bit more real world. I think the way it's designed, its footprint is quite wide and stable. It gives a little bit of give in its hinges, whereas the Wahoo Kickr doesn't quite feel the same as the Tacx Neo in terms of, like, if you were to get out of the saddle, there's a little bit of give and movement.
There's a bit of play where the cassette is, which means that out the saddle, feels a little bit more natural.
But one thing to bear in mind, which we haven't had a chance to get our hands on just yet, is the Wahoo Kickr will come with, or will be purchasable with Wahoo and compatible, is the Kickr Climb, which will change things. But for now, we don't know what that's like, but that is something to come in the future.
So when they're used in Zwift, they're both pretty equal because Zwift is like a really well-designed app. It's easy to set up both of them with either Amp Plus or Bluetooth. But in terms of their own apps, if you want to just control it from, say, your phone, in my experience, the Wahoo apps are much better than the Tacx apps.
I think Wahoo pride themselves on their software, especially the usability, the friendly nature of it. It's the same with their computers, I guess. The element bolt and the bigger element is that everything is done via their app, which is very swift and very smooth, very controllable. You can set your own wattage. Great for when you're watching a film or something on the turbo without Zwift, because you can still work hard, but sort of lose yourself in watching something else, removing the boredom.
It's a bit of a moot point because, you know, most of the time when you're going to be doing a workout on one of these things, you're going to be doing it through something like Zwift or whatever. So it's only a tiny little thing to consider, but it's just an example, I think, of how Wahoo's software is generally better, I would say, than the Tacx apps.
Definitely.
Both the Tacx Neo and the Wahoo Kickr have power meters built in.
Yep.
But the Tacx is accurate to plus or minus 1%, whereas the Wahoo is claimed to be 2%, isn't it?
Yeah.
So slightly less accurate. But I mean, do you think that's a problem for people?
I think it could be. I think the more serious you start taking your Zwifting, and the more serious, if you want to start racing on Zwift, or you want to start to work towards specific numbers, and you're using your own power meter, I think it starts to encroach on the subtle differences between, you know, having a good day or a bad day on a bike, for example. So, although it's small, the more serious and more professional you get, I think does become a problem.
Yeah, I think that's something you have to sort of decide for yourself, is how important that accuracy is for you. But yeah, 2%, 1%, so slightly more accurate, but only slightly.
You know, being at home in my flat where the floor isn't level and I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
The Wahoo Kickr is adjustable in the sense that the arms fold out and you can adjust these feet and then lock them into place.
That is a cool little feature.
That is a nice little feature over this big bad boy.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that these metal on metal clamps can get stuck.
Right.
And so you will need some tools. So for example, at the moment, with this one in particular, the left-hand side I can't adjust.
Right.
So I'm over adjusting, as you can see here on this side, to make it level. It's just little things like that. You know, you need to make sure that you're, you know, properly in tuned, and it's not 100% easy to adjust things. The other thing that's slightly annoying, which is only a minor little niggle, is I've got it set up for bolt through at the moment. And look how easy that was to come out.
Yeah, or it's going to drop off in your car, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, travelling around, or, you know, you lose it. Obviously, it doesn't happen with quick release, but, you know, just little things like that. Could they be screwed in? Could they just be Allen key tightened? You know, that might be an improvement.
So talking about things that fall off, right, the Tacx has something, okay? So it has these little rubber feet, these feet pads on the bottom, right? Now, every time I go somewhere and I take this, I have to double check that I've not left one of these or more than one of these behind, because they have a habit of falling out all the time. As soon as you lose one of those, it becomes a bit of a pain. If you get one, just be aware of that. But I guess we should summarise. So overall, which one would you go for? And why?
For £999,
Yeah.
I'll go for the Wahoo Kickr. For my lifestyle and where I live at the moment, and for what I use it for, I don't need it to be super accurate for me. I don't need, you know, the hardware of the Tacx Neo. I'm happy with the performance. I'm happy what it gives me with Zwift. And then the fact that I can fold the legs in, it doesn't kill my back, I can move it around. My girlfriend's happy because the turbo's out of the way and the bike's put away. Whereas with the Neo, when I did have it, I really struggled for space. You know, the fact that it does fold away and you can sort of slot it in to a cubby hole somewhere, but it's such a large footprint. You know, I think anyone in a London flat would struggle with one of these. Whereas that is just, for me at the moment and my lifestyle, I'd have to go with the Wahoo Kickr.
I'm, you know, not just being devil's advocate, I do prefer the Tacx. And one of the big reasons why I prefer the Tacx is the fact that you can use it without it being plugged in, which is important for me in terms of taking it to the start of time trials or races or hill climbs or whatever, and being able to warm up on it and, you know, use it for that. That is something that's important to me, and that might be important to you as well. I do have to really stress, though, that it is an absolute nightmare to move it around. And I do dread lifting it up into my car, out of my car, folding the legs in. Every time I do it, I sort of dread it a little bit and get... I mean,
how does it fit in your Polo?
It's just like... If you're gonna buy the Tacx Neo, it's more expensive. It's £250 more expensive, so that might be an important factor for you as well. And I would also consider the added cost of going on a manual handling course when you buy it, just to make sure that you don't damage your back irreversibly whilst moving it around. It really is difficult to move around.
But that's not to say, you know, the Wahoo still weighs over 21 kilograms. It's still a hefty piece of kit. And I think all smart direct drive turbos now are a weighty item. You're not going to get away with, you know, a svelte, easy to carry, easy to manoeuvre. They're all a bit difficult in a sense. But I think it's the ultimate bit of kit.
Yeah.
For £250 more, it's not an astronomical amount of money. So if you were looking for the pure experience of riding indoors, like it was outdoors.
Yeah.
But I think for me, everyday life, Wahoo Kickr.
Yeah, the Kickr's a great product. So I guess that's it. I mean, we've hopefully covered off a lot of people's questions, but if you've got any other questions about either of the two turbos that you want to ask, then just let us know in the comments section below and we'll do our best to sort of answer them. And if you liked this video, then give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to the Cycling Weekly channel as well for more videos like this. And if you want to see us do anything else, then by all means suggest that as well, anything else turbo related. So until then, see you later. So yeah, neodymium.
Is that what stops Superman from flying and healing?
It can kill Superman, yeah. Do you want to know another fact? Right, neodymium is actually used to measure the strength of volcanic eruptions as well.
And that's in the turbo?
That's in there, yeah.
Mind blown.